Sometimes it's hard to look at another great ape, like a chimpanzee or an orangutan, and think they aren't humans. That isn't just a human beneath like an animal costume suit. Why haven't they built a society like us? And that's the question I want to answer in this video. Now, orangutans, for example, they're a lot like us. They teach their kids for a long time. They stay with their parents for a long time. They're all intelligent animals. They know how to use tools. They know how to do everything. But the difference is we have much bigger brains, and the reasoning for that is more than just, well, we just happen to have bigger brains. We've always ran on two legs, which has allowed us to hunt animals, and we became largely carnivorous. We just run after animals, and it's made our brains really big because we've always had that extra protein that these other animals, they don't really get it that regularly. Now, because of that, it's allowed us to communicate. Now, communication's arguably the biggest thing for us building society. Without it, none of our important ideas would ever have been able to be shared over a long distance quickly. For example, orangutans, they learn off their mother, and their mother teaches them for something like 8 years. However, us as humans, we can tell someone something, and they go travel 100 miles, and they can tell someone else. We don't need to learn off one person in a certain place. We can just understand words and then put them into practice ourselves without having to see someone else do it. And that's a really, really important skill that we have. We have this ability to be able to understand abstract ideas even without them being shown to us. And the fact that we have this higher language, really, where we can communicate effectively and efficiently, has allowed us to really, really build society. Without words, we probably wouldn't have been able to build everything we have. For example, agriculture, it started in a small place. We happened to get lucky with that because we sort of had a need for it. Now, as much as it kind of sounds corny, but pressure makes diamonds, and this relates to all of life, but it relates to why we became so smart as well. We were in a difficult situation. We didn't have great food security. We couldn't really just sleep in the open and, would freeze to death. We kind of needed to do things about it. And because of this, we ended up discovering things like, a little seed drops from a tree, it ends up growing a tree there however long later. Other animals, they never really had the same intelligence to be able to learn things like this, or even try things like this, because they never had the reason to. They live in a forest. There is no reason for them to start trying to build mud shacks or trying to plant things, because there's already trees there. Whereas if we're living in Iceland, or something like that, and there's no trees about, or there's no plants around, well, I gotta try and put plants here, don't I? That's the reasoning for why we developed farming, which is the foundation, really, behind all of civilization. Without it, we would not have society. So really, it's just a combination of the fact that we communicate really, really well with each other. Talking is a skill, and I think there is a bit of a lesson to be learnt from that. You can talk to so many people if you want to. Most people are always open for a conversation, and you can learn an awful lot just by talking to people. It's how our ancestors did it, and I'd recommend still doing it today. Also, there's the fact that we have always been able to run. We can run after animals and we can hunt them. We live on the move. As humans, we've always meant to be living on the move. And because of that, it sort of pushed us into situations where we were forced to make positive change. And this allowed us to build society. Other animals, orangutans, chimpanzees, gorillas, they aren't being forced to make any change because their lifestyle works for them. They aren't being put in any threat by any existential yeah. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Basically, they aren't at risk. We kind of were. So they haven't had the same force applied on them to try and make them change. And because of that, somehow we've went from learning how to survive really, really well and build farms and just generally expand all across the world to making TikToks and mukbangs. So that's basically human evolution for you, and how somehow we've done so much better than all the other great apes combined. That's about all I really have to say. It's been a bit of a waffle video, but I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you. Goodbye.